UNC Ole Miss, fascinating game, 4:05 Eastern on TNT. This game will be in Milwaukee. All right, so I think I'm going to be on Ole Miss here. Now, I am worried about UNC. UNC feels like that team. There's always a team that does this. They get in, and then they just go on a run. But UNC's favored here by 1.5. I don't think. I can't get their numbers wise. I make Ole Miss a favorite. I might just have to. I might just have to bet Ole Miss on my numbers, and there is some looming regression here. And look, UNC, they've been great. What's been different, right? So, basically since February 11th or 10th on Torvik. So what's changed? They did make some lineup tweaks. Withers has emerged. Withers has been amazing. He basically was like nothing at one point in the middle of the season. But he's 25 and 52 from three over this stretch. The younger guys are playing better, but over that stretch, they're kind of like Colorado State. They shot 44.1% from three. Over near 12% better than what they were for the whole year before February 11th. They were at 32%. So there was some, I think, looming positive regression, but obviously they're not going to keep shooting 44% from three. Teams also are shooting over that stretch 30% from three. A pretty high volume. And by the way, their 2-point offense and defense has gotten worse. So it doesn't make sense. I think a lot of this is just shooting variance going their way. Meanwhile, Ole Miss is in the opposite end of the spectrum. Since February 1st, they're shooting 32.5% from three. They were 35% prior. Teams since February 1st are shooting 38% against Ole Miss. Before that, they were shooting 29.7%. That was never going to last, but I think it's swung too far the other way. So these two teams have been polar opposite. If the regression were to hit, and I think it's just impacted the ratings of these two teams, it would be this game. Now, from a matchup perspective, Ole Miss doesn't allow you to get to the rim. They're 13th near proximity attempt rate allowed. That's where UNC wants to go. They're 9th on offense. But they force you to work in isolation. 99th percentile frequency. UNC is elite working in isolation. So that scares me. They also don't turn it over. That's what Ole Miss wants to do. They want to turn you over. Ole Miss does at least limit transition. So I think that there's enough here. Not going to let UNC get to the rim. They're not going to let them get in transition with the looming regression. I might have to sell high on UNC, but the college basketball fan and bracket person, I know that there's always a team like this that just gets hot, sneaks in. It feels like that's UNC, but UNC, have they beat anyone yet with a pulse? First, the top 50 this year, Ole Miss is 23rd in the country. UNC 66th. So this comes down to, what do you believe? Do you believe UNC has changed this much, or is it a lot of shooting luck? Based on their 2-point offense and defense getting worse, I think it has a lot to do with shooting luck. But they're playing confidently. I still will take Beard over. I'll take Beard over Hubie in this as well. But feels scary. But I think I'm going to be on Ole Miss. Tanner?
North Carolina doesn't have a single win in the top 25 of KenPom. So there's that. I don't think that their offense matches up well with Beard's no middle, which, like you mentioned, just going to dribble deny RJ Davis. Ole Miss or nothing for me.
I'll tell you this. If UNC shoots 13 to 25 again, they're going to win.
Ole Miss's defense is going to give you those. But
yeah, they're going to get looks. But they're also they're shooting at an unsustainable rate.
And they're more comfortable in downhill creation anyways.
Yeah, they want to get to the rim. That's where they want to get. They're top 10 in near proximity attempt rate. But Ole Miss doesn't let you do that. Now, UNC doesn't turn it over, and they do grade out well in isolation. That's where Ole Miss makes you work. But I don't know. I think Ole Miss should be a small fave. Calabrese, are you riding the heels bandwagon?
The way I look at this, and I'll pat myself on the back in the first 4 show, I just said, I got to get out of the way of this locomotive. Now, I wasn't smart enough to jump on the bandwagon and play North Carolina, but maybe this is, semantics. It's like, they don't need to get hot. They are hot. And to be honest, if somehow, if the guy doesn't put his foot in the lane and they beat Duke in overtime, are we talking about this North Carolina team a little bit differently? They wouldn't have been on the bubble, in the same way they were conversationally going into this tournament. Maybe that's helping in terms of the chip on the shoulder element and all that. But you saw what that same Duke team did in the second half to Louisville. They absolutely fed them into the wood chipper. So I don't know. North Carolina, for me, it's a team that I cannot fade at this point. I agree, though, on the coaching element. I love Beard and I love the no middle defense and what it potentially could do. But just to your point, Stuck, every single year, it seems like one of these 11 seeds, they hit the play-in game, they start feeling great about themselves, they go on a run to the second weekend. This looks like them in spades right now. So I'm going to go ahead with North Carolina if I had to play it, but there's just no way I can back the Rebels.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Ole Miss. I'm probably going to be on an island. I feel like that's going to be a game where no one in the world wants to bet Ole Miss.